Welcome to the Sharing Without Shame podcast, dedicated to parents and anyone else who loves someone in active addiction. Education is a powerful tool in breaking down stigma, fostering understanding, and ultimately helping individuals and their loved ones navigate the challenges of addiction. With Donna Marston, author of Peeling the Onion and Sharing Without Shame. So take a deep breath and grab some tissues as we uncover the stories of love, courage, and unwavering support in the face of adversity, as Donna and her guests share their stories without shame. Because when we share our stories without shame, we inspire others to do the same.
Hello, and welcome to the Sharing Without Shame podcast. I'm your host, Donna Marston, and today's podcast is brought to you by Snapbands. That's snappbandz.com. And this is my Snapband, and mine says blessing. This is how it comes in this package. I never thought of myself as a blessing. And now I do because of this. I count my blessings every day as a true blessing. I share blessings with the world, and I am grateful, thankful, and blessed. So if you would like one, go to www.snapbands.com and you can just snap yourself out of whatever's get in your head. And so today I would like to welcome Kohdi Rayne. I hope I said that right. He's a visionary founder, director, and CEO of Beyond Sober clothing company, Beyond Sober Nation, and Beyond Sober. His work is centered on empowering individuals in recovery, offering a unique blend of support, community, and a brand that celebrates sobriety and style. His passion for helping others and navigate their own recovery journey and find strength in sobriety is truly inspiring. Let's dive into this conversation and explore how Kohdi is making a difference in the world of recovery. Welcome, Kohdi.
Hey, what is going down? It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for doing that research. Goodness gracious, you looked into me, and I love that. That is amazing.
Thank you.
If you Google my name, which is actually Kohdi Rayne, like water,
Yeah.
if you say internet personality, you'll see all
Yeah.
the podcasts, you'll see the Beyond Sober program, you'll see the master classes, Beyond Sober Nation. I'm all over TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. I'm also an international best-selling author. I just released a second book called Beyond Sober, and I co-authored another book called You Could Overcome Anything Despite Your Barriers in Life. So I really, really appreciate you looking into that and saying presenting such a kind introduction. It really, really means a lot, and I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. First question I'd like to ask you is, what would you like to share without shame?
One of the most beautiful things about recovery is shame doesn't exist. Anything I share, whether it's something in the past, something going on right now, and anything that I may consider sharing in the future is 100% without shame. Shame and guilt, embarrassment is the core underlying feeling and unrealized density of energy that drives us to escape. It makes us feel like we're not supposed to be who we are, where we are, as we are. Everything is allowed and everything just is. And one of the things that when I'm working with anyone specifically is not to remove the shame per se, but it is to view past, present, and future objectively, which basically means without emotion, without your opinion, without your thoughts, without your ideas, without your perspectives, without your experiences. What is it? And is it true? For me, I'm wearing two hats and I look like Pauly Shore. What? If you know Pauly Shore, I'm that guy, right? Every single day, someone goes, hey, is that Pauly Shore? I've gone viral for looking like this guy. Even Pauly Shore says I look like him. He's left me numerous comments. Without our opinion and without our thoughts, is it objectively true that I resemble Pauly Shore? The answer is yes. You don't need to believe it. I look like that guy. I'm wearing two hats, whether you like it or not. It just is. There's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no emotion associated with just the truth. And one of the things that we get wrapped in, or kind of wrapped within, is developing beliefs that attempt to make what's objectively true false. And one of my favorite phrases, which is so simple, it's almost annoying, is what we believe is very rarely true. And
Mm.
what's true, we very rarely believe. When something's true, you don't have to believe it. So when we start practicing these specific techniques and just allowing that to be true, or even stepping into the possibility that that may be some type of solution that could remove some of that anxiety and the shame and the guilt, then what happens is we start rewriting everything we look at. And when we
Mm.
change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And that's a direct quote from Wayne Dyer. Absolute magic man right there.
I love him. Yes. So the reason I reached out to you, you had, I think it was on Facebook, a video that was pretty powerful, but what caught me was when you said, life is okay when I pretend it doesn't hurt.
Ooh, yes,
Can you talk about that?
absolutely. One of the primary beliefs that we have, and whether we're consciously aware of it or not, it's ingrained almost in our DNA. And it is this: I'm not supposed to feel bad. Who taught us that? Who
Mm.
ingrained that within us? And more importantly, why do we think that feeling bad is bad? First off, there's no such thing as bad. There's things that we prefer that work in our favor and things that we don't prefer. But if we're emotionally charged with our own experience saying, this is bad, I feel bad, there's something wrong, then we emotionally, energetically infuse anger and guilt and discrepancies and almost depict trauma just because we feel some kind of way. So we get wrapped around the belief that we're not supposed to feel bad. And then we do whatever we can to escape that feeling. And it doesn't matter. It could be the burrito you ate yesterday and that hot sauce that's going through your guts. Oh man, that's what you get for eating jalapenos. To assume your intestines aren't supposed to be on fire from eating salsa is just crazy. But to also assume you're supposed to feel good every single day, all day long, and that is the baseline of the human existence. More importantly, if you don't feel like that, something is wrong. If we practice believing that, we're going to find all the reasons why we don't feel bad and don't deserve to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Start looking for all these reasons. We don't even do it on purpose. Our brain is conditioned to do it. It's called your reticular activation system. It sits here and it goes, well, she's not very nice. There must be something wrong with me. Well, they were a little rude. I must have done something wrong. Well, my stomach doesn't feel that good. I must have ate something bad. And then we're ruminating on every single thing that contributes to what we believe to be true, which is, I'm bad. I don't feel good. Nothing is working. I'm not supposed to like this. Everything is crumbling. Here's my anxiety. Here's my depression. Here's my rumination. Here comes that trauma. And we spiral into these conditions thinking that that's supposed to be that way because it's here, because we're experiencing it. So for someone like me that has extreme ADHD, I am hyper aware of the hairs on my arm. You don't think I don't pay attention to that little tiny word that was said just a tiny bit sideways, and I didn't recognize the shift in your energy when you said that? Now I'm internalizing something you didn't even say. You didn't even
Mm-hmm.
mean to say that. But my pattern recognition got the best of me, and now I feel kind of weird. There must be something wrong with me. That's not true at all. We're allowed to look at that information and go, I feel kind of weird. That's weird. Anyway, and then we're allowed to disconnect, or more importantly, not allow it to affect our entire being and contribute or guide our behavior. We also believe that life is good when it's good. We believe that if we're not in pain, we're not in shame, we're not in guilt, we're not thinking about we don't like, prefer what we don't like, that everything is okay. Yet we don't do anything a majority of the time to make it true. We wait for an excuse to go, it's not bad right now, therefore it's good. Happiness and success and abundance isn't something that you earn. It's not something that you have to be deserving of. You don't have to work for it. There's more than enough of all of that to go around for everybody. Yet we think it's finite. We think we don't have access to it. That's not true, but we believe it for some reason. You're ruminating on these beliefs that make it seem, or we subconsciously believe that happiness and health and abundance is something we have to deserve and become worthy of, then we're always going to escape that feeling of not being deserving. The easiest way to do that is pretend like there's nothing wrong. How about I just have a drink? There goes all my insecurities. What's left? The
Right.
illusion of confidence. How about I just have one more? There's that dopamine that I wasn't producing. Now I feel good. Things are good. In time, what happens is we end up becoming escape artists, and we become addicted, not to the substances per se, but to the escapism. We become emotionally entangled in the belief or the idea that if we don't feel bad, that all things are good. So we start chasing the artificial illusion that alcohol and other substances provide. And I always say this, the quickest route to the illusion of peace is just one step away. But the reality is we are peace, and we should work for that.
Because it isn't really about the drink or the drug, it's the why. Why do you feel the need to self-medicate? What internally? Is it a hole in your soul? Is it trauma from childhood? Is it just, what hurt or insecurities? What is it? Or it gives you false courage, but at some point you took that drink or the drug and you woke up that disease that lays dormant until you wake it up.
That makes sense. And the reality with this is the word disease, nobody. I've worked with thousands of people, countless messages, one-on-one conversations, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, just like this. Not a single person that was struggling with alcoholism, not a single person who lost everything because of alcohol, not a single person that just got out of the hospital thinks or believes wholeheartedly in any fashion whatsoever that they have a disease. And that includes me. Alcoholism is recognized for insurance purposes as a disease. Because if we're just sitting here going, well, you choose to drink alcohol and you're hurting yourself, you're not going to get any help. As a matter of fact, I didn't have insurance when my liver failed. And so emergency medical insurance kicked in. The cost of me surviving for 11 days in the hospital was $1.5 million just to stay alive. Had I had insurance, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to afford my hospital stay. But more importantly, I've released numerous videos that have impacted hundreds of thousands of people about the label of disease. When we start to look at ourselves as the disease, when we start to embody the label of alcoholic, of sober, of broken, of diseased, we immediately surrender all empowerment. We give up what is rightfully ours. More importantly, the label alcoholic, the label disease is considered a loaded phrase. So just to say that means you are also taking on the entire identity of all things alcoholic. Even if that's not true, even if you don't have an addiction, even though you're just practicing some alcoholic behavior and you're not doing so well, and you could stop anytime, but it's hard. That doesn't make you an alcoholic without a dependency. So just embodying these phrases, and you and I were talking about this, sometimes our parents or the people closest to us are doing what they can to help us, unknowingly embodying or helping us literally ingrain an entire disease, an entire persona, an entire identity that we know as someone who's struggling isn't actually us. This creates a subconscious anxiety and, to some degree, a very powerful rage that is solved with one more drink. It's really crazy. Nobody that has an addiction chooses the addiction, but they all choose to survive. They're surviving their emotions. They're surviving the poison. They're surviving the environment. They're surviving the support that they're being given. It's amazing how alcohol becomes the answer to everything, literally everything.
Can you explain that? Surviving the support.
Once again, one of my most viral videos is me basically teaching loved ones how to communicate with someone who's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And the overarching message is tough love doesn't work. It doesn't. It can't
I'm
work.
glad you said that.
And here's the reason. I'll just get in your face. You think you can be hard on me? You think you're tougher than I am? I guarantee you would never pick up the bottle in the ways that I had. I guarantee you, if you had the opportunity, you would never survive the nights that I did. I guarantee you can't hurt me worse than I hurt myself every day. You think your tough love works? Watch me do it better. So there's tough, and then there's love. There's not the same thing. That is a part of the surviving that so many of us don't even realize we're wrapped within. Because we're sitting here going, my mom loves me, but why does she keep reminding me that I'm an alcoholic? I know my dad loves me or said he does. Why does he keep taking my medicine? They say they love me. Why are they so mean to me? We have to remember that anyone that's trapped or feels trapped in the cycle of addiction or dependency isn't drinking or doing that because they don't care. They're drinking because they care so much and don't want to. I don't want to care the way that I do because it hurts. This could be the trauma. This could be the love. It could be anything.
So my head's spinning because as parents and as a parent who did those things, I think I practiced tough love, but the way you said it, yeah, maybe I did, because I said things I shouldn't have said in hopes that this is going to turn him around. If I just make him realize, but it wasn't to be tough, because I always thought I was doing unconditional love by not kicking him out and allowing him to be home. And I learned the hard way that I couldn't love him into recovery. And you can throw all kinds of money at it, and to the point, I almost lost my house. And we don't know what we don't know. And
Right.
until we're able, and I don't like rock bottom, because to me that can mean death. So the language I use is when a person who's in active addiction, alcoholism, hits their enough. And as the parent who's codependent, who enables, when we hit our enough is when we're willing and able to start to put one foot in front of the other and start changing and doing things different. And for me, I saw this emotional scale, and I was at the bottom. I was number 22.
Right.
And I thought, how did I'm living in dysfunction, and I'm not a dysfunctional person. And that's what catapulted me to start to move forward. Right. And so it's really hard, because with parents, and I was one of them, an Italian Irish mother, you're not going to tell me how to love my child in his active addiction.
Right.
Even though I know nothing about it, I'm the mother.
Right.
Right. And that's what I loved about your message, because you were very clear in what you had to say, but not hurtful in what you had to say.
Right.
Because we're hurt enough. We don't need to be hurt anymore.
100%. And that's the truth. There's pain on both sides. And I'm telling you, I've as of recently, I've been working with a gentleman for a couple months. He's been in and out of rehabs for decades, like at least the last 12 years. He's gone to 9 different rehabs, countless hospital stays, drinking himself into oblivion, been homeless, drinking in his car, kicked out of his house, kicked out of his friend's house, all these things. And his mother reached out to me, drank in the same way that you did, and said, "You're my last stitch effort. I think my son is going to die. I've seen your videos. I've seen your liver failure. I feel like that's the direction my son is going." And immediately I'm sitting here going, I want to talk to him. What? I know how strong he is. I know what he's doing. I know why he's doing it. It doesn't matter the specifics of the why. I know the core density of what's going on here. I'm telling you this. If this is what he's doing, then we've got to approach this from a place of love, not just passion. And we started working together, right? I said, just do me a favor, just send him a couple of my videos, see if he's interested in talking to me, and we'll see where it goes. Guess what? 2 months later, sober as a bird, personal trainer, hasn't barely getting triggers. You know why? It's because first off, I praise him as the man and the person that he is, even if he doesn't feel like that. I make sure that I'm sitting here and I'm with him. I'm crying with him. I'm letting him know that he's safe, that he's okay. There's nothing wrong. He's not the problem. He simply has a problem. Now I receive messages from his mother going, I cannot thank you enough for showing us how to love our child.
Yeah.
They felt the same way. Both parents, I talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
Parents felt wholeheartedly that the density of their passion and love for their child was being expressed in an appropriate way to their son to such a degree that maybe they could force a change. The son, needs to be nurtured into feeling the love he has for himself. We got to create some passion. We got to let him dig. And so what he did is, of course, he's had his lapses, but he's on 30-day stints. He may drink, goes back on another 30 days, but that's better than being blacked out every single night, being taken to the hospital, being arrested, robbing a liquor store, going back to the hospital, being released, sleeping in the bushes. Whoa. And it's all because we're not trying to, for lack of better words, beat the care into him. He's telling us what he needs, but he's not, we're going to say, practiced in communication. So when we're listening to someone that's in that state, we really, really have to be open to what they're truly saying beneath the words, beneath they're attempting to convey. They want to feel loved. They want to truly feel supported where they are in their pain at that moment. But they also want to know that they're not the one that can't do it. They want to know, we all want to know how capable we actually are, even if we don't believe it. If we could infuse the density of possibility with one small action here, one small action there, praise the sip of water, praise the nice thing, praise the action over and over and over, then we have a community that is practicing love. You can't ignore that much love because it's no longer feeling like an attack. It's like an actual state of unity. And it's in that space that us that are struggling with addictions or dependencies feel like we belong. We feel like we're allowed to struggle. We feel like there's nothing wrong with us, but now we're excited to optimize our life, our brain, our relationships, one tiny sip of water at a time, one more hug at a time, one more outing at a time. When you add all those things up, you get someone that inspires themselves, that's actually excited to be alive, that no longer needs support, but is willing to accept it. It takes, but we have to recognize them as human beings first.
Thank you for that, because I always, there was a group that I had belonged to and I left because they would refer to their children as a AD or AS, made me crazy. And when the parents would come to my support groups, we don't use that language. We don't label our children. Please tell me your child's name, because that's, we see the person first, not their addiction.
100%.
And, they kind of look at you, because that keeps us as the parent and the person sick and suffering in our pain. When we do that, I'm big into kinder language.
100%.
Teaching people how you're ruining my life with your addiction, and saying, changing that to saying, I love you so much that I have to step back. I'm going to try to figure out how to have a healthier relationship with you, even though you're unhealthy.
Right.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
And so that's the work that I do with the parents, because we're toxic, and I was toxic to my son's recovery. because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know that when he came home from treatment, reminding him of the thousands of dollars that he owed
Yep.
us,
Yep.
or this, or you got to get a job, and then blah, 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 at him, and
Yep.
all he's hearing is blah 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 blah. Here she goes again,
Mm.
and then we were on this toxic dance that we did.
100%. This is one of the most powerful phrases that I've experienced. I wish someone would have said to me. And I receive messages all day long. People going, how do I get them to wake up? How do I get them to care? What do I do? Do I leave? Do I just call the police on them? Like what? It's just this state of just despair. And keep in mind, the reason I know this is because I have traumatized nurses and friends and family. They watched my liver fail. They've been through it all. They lost weight watching me
Mm-hmm.
power through this addiction. I lost my house, car, job, money, friends, body, everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But the phrase that tends to open up the gates of possibility for someone specifically wrapped in an alternate universe, in this case, we call it alcohol. It is this, okay? It pulls the weight off of them. It reframes the scenario into a generalized reality, and it doesn't make it seem like it's an attack. And I say that because if I say, dude, you drink too much, and alcohol is a part of your life, you're going to take it like an attack on who you are, not
Mm-hmm.
something that you do. If
Right.
alcohol is your personality, if it's provided to you by the substance, when you say something to me that I don't like, you're even if it's about alcohol, you're insulting my entire world. So
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, we go, okay, hey, here's what I'd love to tell you. I fear that if you continue drinking alcohol the way you do, you won't be around long enough for me to love you the way you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they're not drinking because they don't care. They're drinking because they care a lot and don't want to.
And
So
highly
if we can
sensitive.
facilitate, yes, if we can facilitate that space in which they are receptive, that's a non-casual thing. Oh, I'm saying that's a totally casual thing, non-abrasive. It is
Mm-hmm.
just this well-rounded phrase that goes, look, I fear I won't get a chance to love you. Dang, what? Now, that doesn't mean, like, keep in mind, someone like me, when I was drinking, I was addicted to 2 bottles of liquor a day. That's 30 shots a day. Okay,
Mm.
straight vodka,
God.
needed it to live, withdrawals in between drinks, 2.5 years drinking for 14 hours in bed all day long, depression, anxiety, psychosis, DTs, all this stuff. If someone would have said that to me, that would have given me a reason to drink one more. But that doesn't mean it wouldn't have made sense and alter the way that I was seeing things, even just temporarily. And one of the things that's really important is that what we practice when we're under the influence, we can master when we're not. So when
Mm-hmm.
we reiterate these phrases, just like NLP, say it again, do it again. Here's the reminder. Here's the love. Here's the passion. Here's the truth. It's not about you. It's actually about us. You're not doing something wrong. I just operate from a state of fear that's not your fault, that I won't get a chance to love you the way you deserve. What it does is it triggers the density of care that they're already operating from, and it kind of shatters their perceptions, at least in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What that does is it'll basically make them reconsider things slightly. One sip less is progress. One beer less is progress. If
Mm-hmm.
we can operate from the place of love and share things with passion and kindness and beauty and peace infused into it, we make waves.
Yeah.
They're going to feel it whether they're ready to or not. Whether they
Yeah.
think about it is a different story, but the message sinks in, and in time, with enough love and enough repetition, it will become something that they ruminate about and possibly change their behavior to some degree. At least
Mm-hmm.
going, all right, okay, let's do something. I'm here. What's next?
And I also think, I know when my son would have a reoccurrence, I took it personally. I made it about me,
Mm,
and didn't realize my self-centeredness.
Mm.
And have and learning about that, right? That's again where we're part of the problem. So you have a lot of accolades, and so I would love for you to talk about your book,
Yeah.
if you would like.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't checked the analytics on it. It just released in March. Beyond Sober. If you go to Amazon, go to beyondsoberbook.com. It was ranked recently like number 33. We just released it. Like I'm like, well, I didn't know people wanted this, right?
Yeah, oh,
It
absolutely.
was ranked number 33 in like substance and dependency. It's in the top 100 in two other categories, like addiction and then like alcoholism. And I'm not even necessarily promoting it to some degree. But here's the thing, it took me 4 years to create this book. And the reason
Mm,
for that is it's written and extracted from all 12 and a half hours that are inside the official Beyond Sober program. If you can go to beyondsoberpro.com or beyondsober.org, and you'll see the entire program. It's 6 weeks, and most people don't need it past the first week, right? Which kind of encapsulates what you were saying is the labels. The first week, the first chapter of the book is called Radical Acceptance. It's
mm,
accepting things for what they are instead of
yeah.
punishing yourself for what they're not. So the book and the program go hand in hand. Now, you
Okay.
don't need them together. A lot just recently, just over 100 people just purchased the book, and they're sending me messages going, I'm in tears on chapter 2, man. And I'm like, what was it? What was it? Well, chapter 2 is habits, how we develop them, the science behind habit formation, literal neurological structures that create genetic codes that guide our subconscious behaviors. We talk about that without shame. We reference that without guilt, without making people feel bad. More importantly, we're giving them exercises, really, really deep questions, right? Who would you
Mm-hmm.
be if you didn't have that one single habit that's been guiding your behavior? How do you think your future would unfold if you weren't the person that was so hard on you? If you let the world be difficult on you and you loved on you in the way that you wish you were loved, how would you feel about who you are right now? We go deep into these questions. And I get messages all the time of people going, I didn't know I needed to be asked that question. So the book alone, beyondsoberbook.com, it is way more than enough. I wrote it for people that needed it. I wrote it for the old version of myself. If
Mm,
it's a dedication to who I was. More importantly,
wow.
dedicated to anyone that's even remotely interested in evolving as a person. We very rarely talk about alcohol because alcohol it's the symptom. It's not the
That's the
problem.
Band-Aid.
Yeah. So when we work with the person, or more importantly, when we help the human evolve on their own and we support their successes, they get the results. So the
Mm-hmm.
book itself is powerful enough to get you to open up and at least drink a little bit more water. Maybe you're sitting at bedtime. Maybe you're being just a little bit nicer to yourself. One of my favorite phrases is, if being hard on yourself worked, it would have worked already.
Well, and the other thing that comes to mind, I know when people are in active addiction, they don't love themselves, right?
Mm,
And no matter how much a parent or anybody tries to love them, it will never be enough until we love ourselves.
right.
And that's across the board, whether you have a SUD or not, right?
Mhm,
It's
right.
it's all that. Is your program inpatient, outpatient, online?
It's
What's that?
self-paced online. I meet with everybody personally. So when you
Okay,
sign up for the program, you actually get a free digital copy of the book. You don't even have to buy it. Like you just get access to it. And you can download,
nice.
you can print it out, you can flip through it online. But the point is I'm going, hey, if you're here, use the book, download your homework, chat with me. I'll reach out. I'll work with everybody that moves to the program. I just had a progress report yesterday. Sometimes, we have an intro and we go, all right, this is what I want you to do. This is your exact circumstances. This is what I'm recommending. I'm going to send you an email with the nutrition guide because it sounds like you're struggling with these areas. Here you go. Get your hands on that. I'm going to send you an email in a couple of weeks once you move through the second module, which is habits. And I'm going to see how you're doing. And then we're going to recalibrate. But then at the end of the program, whether you choose to move through it, whether you need it or not, you decide to graduate through the program, you're going to get a certificate of completion and graduation through the entire program. Army veterans that were addicted to alcohol for 20 years print that thing out and put it up on their plaque wall, and they sit proudly with it. Those testimonials are on the Beyond Sober website. It is incredibly impactful, and there's no pressure. And the reason for this is a majority of people that find themselves in traditional recovery solutions realize that it's not designed for who they are. It is designed for the number that they are. It is designed for the symptoms that they have. It is designed for the ailments they can't get rid of. It is designed to get them addicted to a solution that never fixes anything. Beyond sober, I don't care if you get sober. I care if you care about yourself. And if I can help you care about you, I promise you're going to stop hurting yourself in that way. And just cycle back to what you just said about people in addiction not loving themselves. I'll tell you this from someone that struggled with addiction for years. Every single sip of alcohol was an act of self-love. Every single one of them. If I didn't care about me, I would be trying to escape the pain. You don't want me in pain, do you? Oh, wow. I'll just sip. And I say this to go, every single sip is an act of self-care when you're unhealthy. Keep in mind, no one chooses the addiction, but they do choose to survive. Sometimes they're just surviving their own emotions. Sometimes they're just surviving their thoughts. But every single sip is an act of self-love. I promise you, we're not doing it because we hate ourselves. We wholeheartedly believe it is the only way we can express the density of care we have for the one life that we do have. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't. But you're welcome. You want to know how welcome you are? I just killed an entire bottle of vodka to make sure that I'll be here tomorrow.
Ugh, you got me.
Yeah, that's the illusion that alcohol provides. And it's beautiful once we truly understand the mind of someone that's been in that state. And I say this to go, the movement, the feeling that you have right now is why I'll be in Italy, standing on stages with people like Joe Dispenza, working with other thought leaders that are really, truly opening minds up to the universe that is not just addiction, but the human experience in general. And I'm so proud of you. I love that you feel the way that you feel. I love that you care in such an incredible way. Remember, your son is derivative of you. He feels exactly the same because he's equally as human. How he processes those emotions are just a little bit different. And we got to love him through that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Can we talk a little bit before we end? You have a clothing line. How did you go from addiction to a clothing line to Beyond Sober? What was that pathway?
It's kind of a completely organic thing.
Love it.
Let me see. I've been a Photoshop artist. I've been on computers since 1999. So I was in high school. I was in Visual Arts and Design Academy, Multimedia Arts and Design Academy. I went to the Art Institute of LA for animation. So computers in the digital realm is literally my DNA, right? My family's like, can you just stop pushing buttons? We're like, we're going to go walk. I'm like, I just one more. Just click, click, click. So part of my ability to, for lack of better words, dominate the digital space is my ADHD hyper focus on figuring things out in the analytics of, this internet. So when I was in recovery, I keep in mind, my liver failed. I went into cardiac arrest. My heart stopped. They brought me back. They put tubes in my chest. I had hepatitis, pancreatitis, ascites, esophageal varices, like all of the things, ammonia in my brain. When I got out of the hospital, I lost my ability to walk. I had so much neuropathy in my legs. I could not even walk. The torture in the hospital, I lost 60 pounds in 11 days. My body struggled to generate the energy to keep me alive, which is why I'm in the gym every single day, which is why I just released the nutrition, like literally a few minutes ago, I released the nutrition page for everybody that Want $75 in free food from every plate? Dude, I got codes, man. Like, let me show you how I eat healthy. Pair it with the nutrition guy. So I say that to go, when I jumped on TikTok and everyone started reaching out and I was going live and talking about recovery and sobriety, the reason Beyond Sober, the name even came about, is because everyone kept asking me how long I've been sober. I'm like, I'm not sober, dude. I'm not sober. So to say that I'm sober is to indicate that I have a problem with alcohol, that I'm trying to stay away. It means that I'm in between drinks. It means that I'm in active recovery. It means I haven't concluded that I'm never going to drink the gasoline again. That's not true. I still go to events. I still hang out at bars on occasion when I go to different states. I pour alcohol for other people. I smell alcohol. I drink mouthwash. I don't drink it. I gargle mouthwash, right? I cook with wine. I don't have a problem. I broke the addiction physiologically, biochemically, neurological reconstruction. I'm not the same person. It's the density of that knowingness, which first off inspires people, but that's how the name Beyond Sober came about. I was like, dude, I'm not sober. I'm beyond sober. Boom. Okay. Then as I went live, I started saying this phrase because we had so many haters, so many people from other programs coming in and talking a bunch of crap. We started the phrase dirty and 100. And what that means is I say it as it is and I keep it 100. It is dirty. It is raunchy as California, 2-hat Pauly Shore looking real, no BS, right? So we took that and we created Dirty and 100. And then people were just like, I want a shirt. I want a sticker. Okay. So that kind of ignited the brand itself. And then throughout the years, we've come up with tons of different phrases. So then I was like, okay, we started one brand. And then as I started to evolve, I was like, we're just going to call it Beyond Sober Clothing. So beyondsoberclothing.com, it's all sobriety phrases. It's all the designs that I've personally created, quotes that people in the recovery community specifically ask for. Sober mama, like big teddy bear that's just like, I'll defend my sobriety and my recovery. But then we have kind of the emo, kind of dark, grungy, black, fun stuff, skulls and recovery and butterflies and all the things. And everything that's on the website is derivative of conversations that I've had with people one-on-one. So they're like, I would love this. So it's so cool. I'll get pictures all the time of people going, hey, I got your shirt. I got your book. I'm in the program. I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this. Beyond Sober isn't a thing. It's a movement. It's a rebel. And the two things that really kind of drive it forward is I have a sponsorship program that goes along with the official program. So for people that can't afford the book, which is like $15 if you want a hard copy, that are struggling financially to invest in the program itself and get coaching and community, we have a sponsorship program where every single person that decides to join Beyond Sober also, through their investment, donates a complimentary membership to someone that needs the same support but can't afford it. Just yesterday, someone was like, hey, I want to get into your program. I want to get the book. I can't afford it. Literally, I'm on, a strict income, but I need your help. Perfect. Go to sponsormysobriety.com, drop your information there. We'll review all of your information. And then within a few hours, you'll get an acceptance letter. You'll get a video from me personally going, hey, welcome to Beyond Sober. We've accepted your application. Here's what I want you to do. When you start getting these results, which is the only thing we're interested in, no, we're not asking you to buy a membership. No, you don't owe us anything. The only thank you that we're willing to accept is you practicing caring about yourself. If you feel something, share it. If you start to recognize a change in yourself, talk about it. We're not asking for anything in return. As a matter of fact, we believe in you to such a degree that the only thing that matters is that you just slightly pretend to care about yourself in a different way. And if you're starting to feel it, then we'll talk. That specific program has helped people become coaches. They couldn't afford it, and now they're teaching other people how to take care of themselves. That program right there has gotten women their children back that they once lost in a divorce, all because one person is taking care of themselves and giving someone else an equal opportunity to take care of themselves. So the forward system is phenomenal. And I love it. They love it. I'm so excited to expand upon it. So yeah, beyondsoberpro.com or beyondsober.org if anybody wants to get involved.
Perfect. Awesome. Miracles happen every day, don't they?
And we are the miracles that happen.
Right? My son's a miracle. And it's amazing. Before we end, any one word of wisdom or one little statement or something you'd like to say to the listeners before we leave?
You are allowed to be happy for no reason.
Thank you.
Do not need a reason to be happy. As a matter of fact, the more reasons you have to be happy, the less of a reason you're going to find. Do not need to prove yourself. Nobody is expecting an Excel spreadsheet with all the things you did today to determine whether or not you deserve the infinite happiness that is rightfully yours. You are deserving whether you like it or not. You are allowed to be happy whether you see it or not. You are the happiness that you're experiencing. And the only thing that you've got to do is give yourself permission. And the way we do that, go play with some bugs, see what happens. We don't stop playing because we get older. We get older because we stop playing. Go play. Right. See what happens. What's the worst going to happen? A better life? You're allowed to be happy for no reason. If somebody is giving you grief because you look silly expressing yourself authentically, they're sick. Only unhealthy people think happiness looks weird.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to support the Sharing Without Shame podcast, please subscribe, like, and leave a review. If you're in need of emotional support, Donna offers private sessions. For more information about Donna and the services she offers, visit www.sharingwithoutshame.com or email her at donna4support@comcast.net. Nothing in the Sharing Without Shame podcast is intended to establish a therapist-patient relationship or intended to replace the services of a trained therapist, doctor, or health professional, or substitute for professional mental health, medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Until next time, may your faith and strength heal your heart.